Some things in this world just defy logic. You can try to explain them, but the deeper you dig, the weirder they get. From unsolved disappearances to super bizarre natural phenomena, these occurrences will have you questioning everything you know about reality. Some are backed by science, barely. Others, they remain a complete mystery. And these aren't just old legends passed down over centuries. Some of these mind-bending events have happened in recent years, caught on camera or backed by eyewitnesses. Yet, even with all our technology, they still leave scientists scratching their heads. So, if you think you can handle it, here are 15 strange occurrences that are too freaky for words. But before we start, don't say we didn't warn you. Number 15, the Dyatlov Pass incident, 1959. In 1959, 9 experienced hikers set out into the Ural Mountains of Russia. Days later, they were all found dead. But the way they died is what makes this case truly terrifying. Their tent was discovered ripped open from the inside, as if they had fled in terror into the freezing night. Some were found half-dressed, despite sub-zero temperatures. Others had horrific injuries. One had a crushed skull, another had broken ribs, and one was missing her tongue. Even stranger, their bodies showed no external wounds, as if the injuries came from an extreme force, like a car crash. For years, theories ranged from military experiments to paranormal forces. In 2019, a study suggested a delayed avalanche, but many believe it doesn't explain everything. How did they panic so suddenly? Why did some have radiation on their clothes? Over 60 years later, no theory fully fits the evidence, making Dyatlov Pass one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries in history. Number 14. The Man from Taured, 1954. Imagine arriving at an airport and being told your country doesn't exist. Well, it sounds pretty nonsense, right? But that's exactly what happened in 1954 when a businessman landed at Tokyo's Haneda Airport with a passport from Taured, a nation that had never existed. The man was confused and irritated, insisting that Taured was a real place located between France and Spain. His passport was official, containing stamps from multiple countries, proving he had traveled before. Even his bank and employer existed, but not in our reality. Authorities detained him overnight while they investigated. The next morning, he was gone like Captain John. No escape routes, no sign of him, just vanished, along with his documents. Was he a time traveler? A visitor from a parallel universe? A government cover-up? No explanation has ever surfaced, and the case remains one of the strangest glitches in reality ever recorded. Number 13. The Disappearance of Flight MH370, 2014. A Boeing 777 carrying 239 passengers vanished mid-flight. No distress signal, no wreckage, just gone. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, bound for Beijing. But less than an hour in, it deviated off course and disappeared from radar. Despite one of the largest search efforts in history, only small pieces of debris have ever been found, nowhere near where the plane should have been. Theories range from pilot sabotage to hijacking, but none explain why the plane flew thousands of miles in the wrong direction. Some even speculate it was deliberately hidden or shot down. In 2023, scientists used ocean drift patterns to suggest a new search area, but even in 2025, the fate of MH370 remains one of the greatest aviation mysteries ever. While a crash is also worse, getting vanishes. Well, it's not something you hear every day. Number 12. The Dancing Plague of 1518. Imagine waking up one day and being unable to stop dancing, not for fun, but against your will, until you collapse from exhaustion. That's exactly what happened in 1518, when a woman in Strasbourg, France, started dancing non-stop in the streets. Within days, hundreds of people joined her, unable to stop. Some danced until they collapsed and died from exhaustion. Doctors had no idea what was happening. Authorities even hired musicians, thinking it would help them dance it out. It only made things worse. Modern theories suggest it was caused by ergot poisoning, a hallucinogenic mold found in rye bread. Others think it was mass hysteria, triggered by extreme stress. But here's the eerie part. This wasn't the only case. Similar dancing plagues occurred multiple times in history. To this day, no one fully understands why entire towns started dancing uncontrollably and why some danced themselves to death. Number 11. The Max Headroom broadcast hijacking, 1987. On November 22, 1987, thousands of Chicago residents watched in horror as their TV screens were hijacked by an unknown person wearing a Max Headroom mask. During a late-night news broadcast, the screens suddenly glitched, and a bizarre figure appeared, speaking nonsensically in a distorted voice. At one point, he was spanked with a fly swatter while laughing hysterically. Then, just as suddenly as it started, it ended. The signal cut back to normal programming. The FBI and FCC launched investigations, but no one was ever caught. To this day, no one knows who did it or how they hijacked the broadcast. Some believe it was a rogue hacker, while others think it was a disturbing message from someone unhinged. Either way, the Max Headroom incident remains one of the creepiest and most mysterious unsolved broadcast hacks in history. Number 10. The Phoenix Lights, 1997. On March 13, 1997, thousands of people in Arizona, Nevada, and even parts of Mexico witnessed something that remains unexplained to this day. A massive V-shaped formation of lights, silently moving across the night sky. These weren't distant twinkles or random flashes. The lights were structured, enormous, and eerily silent. Some witnesses reported a solid, mile-wide craft blocking out the stars. Even the governor of Arizona, initially skeptical, later admitted what he saw defied explanation. The military quickly dismissed the sighting, claiming the lights were flares dropped by aircraft. But this explanation doesn't hold up. The lights didn't flicker or descend like flares, and they moved in perfect synchronization. Even decades later, the Phoenix Lights remain one of the best documented mass UFO sightings in history. Theories range from secret military experiments to alien visitors, but no official explanation has ever been confirmed. Whatever it was, it left an entire state questioning what's really out there. Number 9. The Vanishing Village of Anjikuni Lake, 1930s. Imagine arriving at a village and finding every single person gone, without a trace. That's exactly what happened in the 1930s when a Canadian fur trapper stumbled upon the Inuit village of Anjikuni Lake, only to find it completely abandoned. The eerie part? The fires were still burning, food was left out, and sled dogs were found frozen to death. But the entire population had disappeared. No tracks, no struggle, no bodies, just emptiness. Royal Canadian authorities investigated, but no logical explanation was ever found. Some theories suggest mass abduction, a supernatural force, or a government cover-up. Others claim the story was exaggerated or even fabricated, yet no one has disproven it entirely. To this day, the disappearance of the Anjikuni villagers remains one of the most unsettling mass vanishings in history. No remains, no clues, just an entire community swallowed by the unknown. Number 8. The Toxic Lady of Riverside, 1994. On February 19, 1994, paramedics rushed Gloria Ramirez to a California hospital after she collapsed. What happened next turned into one of the most bizarre medical mysteries ever recorded. As doctors and nurses treated her, they noticed a strange chemical smell coming from her body. Suddenly, Medical staff started collapsing one by one, vomiting, dizzy, and unable to breathe. Some even had convulsions. The ER had to be evacuated, and Ramirez died soon after. Autopsy results were inconclusive, but some experts believe she had been using dimethyl sulfone, which might have turned into a toxic gas when mixed with oxygen in the hospital. Others suggest a mass hysteria event, but that doesn't explain why only some staff members were affected. Well, that's not something normal. To this day, no one fully understands why Ramirez's body turned into a biological hazard, earning her the chilling nickname, the Toxic Lady. Number 7. The Voynich manuscript. Imagine finding an ancient book, written in a language that doesn't exist, filled with drawings of plants that don't match any known species. That's the Voynich manuscript, one of the most frustrating and unsolved puzzles in history. Discovered in 1912, the manuscript dates back to the 1400s. Yet no one, not historians, cryptographers, or even AI, has ever been able to decipher it. Some believe it's a lost alchemy text, others think it's a medical guide. A few even suggest it's an elaborate hoax, but the structure of the writing is too complex to be meaningless. In recent years, AI has identified possible Latin roots, but the text remains undecoded. Some believe it holds secrets of an ancient civilization, while others think it might be written in a code we haven't cracked yet. Whatever it is, the Voynich manuscript remains one of history's greatest literary mysteries. Number 6. The hum. Imagine hearing a low, droning hum, like a distant engine, that never stops. Now imagine only some people can hear it. That's the mystery of the hum, a sound that has been reported all over the world, yet has no identifiable source. The most famous case is the Taos hum, reported in New Mexico, where residents claim to hear a low-frequency vibration that scientific equipment can't detect. Some people find it maddening, suffering from sleepless nights and headaches. Scientists have suggested electromagnetic interference, geological shifts, or even psychological effects, but none fully explain why only certain individuals hear it. Some conspiracy theories claim it's a secret military experiment or extraterrestrial signal. Even today, the hum remains unexplained. Is it a natural phenomenon or something far more sinister? No one knows, but for those who hear it, it's a never-ending mystery they can't escape. Number 5. The Time Traveler from 2036. In the early 2000s, an anonymous user named John Titor appeared on online forums, claiming to be a time traveler from 2036. He provided detailed descriptions of his supposed time machine and made predictions about future events. Some eerily accurate, others completely wrong. Titor claimed he was sent back in time to retrieve an IBM 5100 computer, which, according to him, was necessary for debugging future software. His knowledge of the IBM 5100's hidden functions was oddly specific, something only a handful of engineers at the time knew. After months of interaction, he vanished without a trace, leaving behind one of the strangest internet mysteries ever. Was he a hoaxer, a government insider, or something else entirely? No one knows, but the John Titor phenomenon remains one of the most intriguing and unexplained time travel stories in modern history. Number 4. The Baltic Sea Anomaly, 2011. In 2011, a team of deep-sea explorers using sonar discovered something that shouldn't be there, a perfectly circular structure at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. The object resembles a classic UFO, complete with metallic properties and strange markings. Some experts claim it could be an ancient lost city or a natural rock formation, but others argue its perfect symmetry and sonar readings suggest it's not natural at all. Attempts to investigate the anomaly have been blocked by strange technical failures. Equipment shuts down mysteriously near the object. Some believe it's an alien craft, while others suspect it's a secret military structure. Even in 2025, no conclusive explanation has been found, making the Baltic Sea anomaly one of the ocean's greatest unsolved mysteries. Number 3. The Pollock twins reincarnation case, 1957. The idea of reincarnation has always been a controversial topic, but the case of the Pollock twins is one of the most compelling and bizarre examples ever recorded. In 1957, two young sisters, Joanna and Jacqueline Pollock, tragically died in a car accident in England. Their parents were devastated. But a year later, their mother gave birth to twin girls, Jillian and Jennifer, and that's when things got eerie. The twins seemed to remember things from their late sisters' lives, despite never being told about them. They recognized their deceased sister's favorite toys, spoke about places they had never been to, and even had birthmarks in the exact same spots as Joanna and Jacqueline. As they grew older, these memories faded, but the case has never been explained. Was it a coincidence, a genetic memory, or something more supernatural? Even psychologists struggle to find a rational explanation, making the Pollock twins one of the most unsettling cases of possible reincarnation ever recorded. Number 2. The Hessdalen Lights. Deep in a remote Norwegian valley, strange lights have been appearing in the sky for decades. Known as the Hessdalen Lights, these glowing orbs of light appear out of nowhere, floating above the valley before disappearing without a trace. First reported in the 1980s, the lights have been scientifically observed and recorded, yet no one knows what causes them. They move erratically, change colors, and sometimes hover for minutes before shooting away at impossible speeds. Scientists have proposed explanations like ionized dust particles, ball lightning, or underground electrical discharges, but none fully explain the unpredictability of the lights. The phenomenon is so persistent that Norwegian scientists set up an observatory just to study them. Are they natural plasma formations? Secret military tests? Alien probes? Despite decades of research, the Hessdalen Lights remain one of the world's most baffling, unexplained phenomena, leaving even top physicists scratching their heads. Number 1. The Somerton Man. On December 1, 1948, an unidentified man was found dead on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. He had no ID, no labels on his clothing, and no clear cause of death. Inside his pocket was a scrap of paper with the words, "Tamam shud," a Persian phrase meaning, "it is finished." The case got even weirder when authorities discovered a hidden message in a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, believed to be a coded message. Experts, including military intelligence, tried to decipher it, but failed. Over 70 years later, we still don't know who he was or why he died. Some theories suggest he was a Cold War spy, others believe he was poisoned, while some suspect he was involved in a secret operation. In 2022, DNA analysis suggested a possible identity, but even in 2025, the full truth remains unknown. The Somerton Man remains one of the most haunting and perplexing cold cases in history. What do you think? Well, let us know your theory in the comment below. And as always, if you have enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.